Hi everyone, this is Paul here doing a report on the lunar eclipse in Leo that's taking place at 12:32 AM on Saturday the 11th of February. This lunar eclipse is like a precursor of what we're to expect the main theme to be from May of this year onwards, when the north node of the moon moves backwards into Leo and emphasises a new area where humanity needs to grow, whilst the south node moves into Aquarius, emphasising behaviours that have become limiting and need to be shed in order for life to become a bit easier for us. Now, with the lunar eclipse in Leo, the main areas that we're going to have thrust into main focus is the divine spark within, and this sense of creativity, love, inner child, everything along the lines of self-expression will come to the fore for this period. With the lunar eclipse, one of the main things it's going to check is, do we actually believe ourselves to be lovable? If someone offers love to us unconditionally, do we believe we're worthy of that love, or do we shun it? Do we try and suppress the other person out of fear of the love that they're offering to us? Because for whatever reason, we've been conditioned to believe that we don't deserve that love that this person is freely offering to us, because they see that we're worthy of love. So during this lunar eclipse will highlight some of the self-worth issues we may have when it comes to love. If we've forgotten how to love ourselves, and it's in this particular lunar eclipse will emphasise to people this issue, that we need to learn how to love ourselves again and to embrace that inner child that we all have within us. Because that inner child is the birthplace of all our creativity. It's the creative desires that we express, the need to love and be loved, and the desire to create anything and everything. So people who are in touch with their inner child find their creative energies rise spontaneously. They have no issue tapping into it. But an enormous number of us, for whatever reason, believe we don't have that creative potential because of the condition that we've had at a young age, and possibly throughout life. If we've always had the same message that we can't create, grow up, stop being so childish, spontaneous, then we learn to reject those parts of ourselves, and it can be painful. So we have to learn to get back in touch with our inner child and to embrace our creative drives and to love ourselves. Because if we don't believe ourselves lovable, and we see other people who do love themselves and are in touch with their creative abilities, we may then have the urge to try and bash their dreams or anything like that, because whatever rationale we may have in our minds, the real reason is we feel insecure that that person has embraced their creative abilities and they're using them to bring love and joy into their lives. But we've forgotten how to do it, and we've been conditioned to believe that we can't do it. So if we can't do it, why should they be able to do it? And this is the sort of thinking that needs to be let go of, because we all have creative potential in us. We just may have forgotten how to do it through the way life has turned out. But creativity is a fundamental need. We all have those desires to create something, whether we know it or not. And just because you're not necessarily in touch with them doesn't mean they're not there. They've just been suppressed, and they could be acting out in completely different ways to that's healthy. And we need to learn to slow down again. And if we do have self-worth issues, we really need to figure out why do we believe that we're not worthy of love? Why is it that when someone freely offers us love, our instinct is to reject it rather than embrace it? Because at the end of the day, we all need love. We're all worthy of love and connection with one another. We've just been conditioned to believe that we're not, and we have to earn it. And at the end of the day, unconditional love is one of the greatest gifts anyone can offer to you, but we have to be able to accept that love in order for us to grow from it. Otherwise, that person's love we may actually find painful, because we've been so conditioned to believe that we're not worthy of love, that when someone comes along and freely offers it to us, we don't know what to do, we freak out. But once we do believe that we're worthy of love, we start feeling a lot more peace in us. If someone radiates love to us, we just gladly accept that love, and we have no problem radiating the same love back to the other person. So we end up with a mutual cycle of love growing, which is what all healthy relationships should have. But it starts with our ability to believe that we are inherently lovable, and to be able to accept the love that other people offer to us, and not just hoard it, but also give the love back to them, so that that person also feels loved and supported. Because when that side of us is healthy, when we believe we're deserving of love, we have no issues accepting love for the people, or giving love in a way that is going to nurture the other person and isn't just about holding up the ego or making ourselves feel better. So during the course of this lunar eclipse, look at what is going on around you. Look at what messages are being sent. But if someone offers you love, what's your internal response to it? Do you feel warm and opened up inside, or do you feel suspicious of the other person, cynical of their motives? Because if our instinct is to be cynical, then clearly we don't believe ourselves lovable. Now obviously we've got to be careful with that as well, so exercise discernment. If the person is doing it with ulterior motives and you sense that, then by all means honour that experience. But if there's someone who doesn't have any ulterior motives and just gladly offers you love, and you don't know how to accept it, then it's really time to ask why. Why is it that we don't know how to accept love that someone clearly sees that we're worthy of it, otherwise they wouldn't be offering it to us in the first place? So why are we struggling to accept it? And what self-worth issues are standing in the way of us accepting that love? Because once we've identified those issues, we can then take actions to let go of them and start to accept the love for the people, because we realise that we're worthy of love, and to give that love back to them as well, so that we've got a healthy mutual relationship between two individuals where neither is dependent on the other for love, but neither of them believes it themselves unlovable. So we get this healthy foundation of all human relationships, love, and ideally unconditional love, where the other person doesn't have to be doing something for you to love them. They don't have to match your own perspectives or your own perceptions of how things should be. You accept them for who they are, and you just love them for who they are, so that they don't feel that any part of them is unworthy and that they have to hide who they are. So this is a key, it's a challenge that we're seeing all around us all the time anyway, but it's now being brought into the forefront of people's minds through the lunar eclipse on the 11th. And this will be a theme for about 15 to 18 months worth before the node shifts signs again back into Cancer. So for this lunar eclipse, and for especially when the nodes move into Leo back in May, it's really time to look at our relationship with ourselves, and do we believe that we're worthy of love? Can we accept love of other people? And do we allow our creative energies to flourish? Do we embrace our creative abilities and produce stuff? Because for most of us, we've lived for quite some time without embracing our creative potentials, but we were born with those energies, we're born to express them. So now is really time to get in touch with those creative energies, to learn how to play like a child again if we've forgotten how to, because play is a fundamental part of development. It's a way of safely testing out different scenarios to see if they work. And with kids being deprived of play so much these days, is there any wonder that a lot of the social ties and social fabric seems to be breaking down? People have forgotten how to relate with one another and just play like a child. Now, I'm not saying be childish and immature, but we all have childlike qualities that needs expression. We all need to express our creative potential, because we're all children of God, and by the very virtue of that, we need to be able to play and have good, healthy fun with one another, without there being any other agendas behind it, without having to limit it or say, no, you can't do that because that doesn't conform with these standards, or any of that perfectionistic stuff that society rams down our throats. creativity is a necessary part of human existence, and we need to embrace it. We also need to embrace self-love, self-acceptance, and to the point where we can then accept it off other people, so that relationships are mutually supporting one another rather than one person giving all the love and the other person trying to throw at walls because they don't believe they're worthy of it. So I hope that's a useful gauge of what the lunar eclipse is going to provide for us as themes. Take care, may it bring many blessings.